It is impossible to imagine what he and so many families are going through. This as new questions continue to emerge from the investigation of the Germanwings airline crash. How much, if anything, did the airline know about the mental state of the man who officials say deliberately crashed this plane? Let's talk about it with Dr. Jacqueline Brunetti, a senior aviation medical examiner. Also, Brian Claypool, a criminal defense attorney, joins me from Los Angeles. Thank you both for being here. Brian, let me begin with you. You spent part of your career defending French airliners and Airbus specifically. When you look at this, Lufthansa's CEO has said that obviously something tragic happened here. Lubitz slipped through the safety precautions that they have. The airline believed that he was indeed fit to fly. They say they had no knowledge of those medical notes that were found in his apartment torn up, saying that he was unfit to fly. Do you think that Lufthansa faces liability here?
Well, first of all, Poppy, the comment by the CEO that Lubitz was 100% fit to fly is irresponsible, and it's not based on any fact. When I did defense work for French Airbus, I will tell you that very little went into screening of pilots. And in fact, our own federal regulations in terms of pilot training and screening are very weak, Poppy. Our regulations deal primarily with the training of pilots. There's very little as far as whether a pilot is fit. And in this case, the issue is not, well, did Lufthansa know about it? And gee, did Lubitz hide this from us? The issue is, should they have known? And it's my position here is that clearly they should have done more. We need more transparency with pilots. They need to be subjected to mental health assessments, not a 5-minute discussion, how are you doing? And then once they're hired, Poppy, we need to have more regulations in place to make sure that the mental health of these pilots is continuously regulated.
Doctor, I see you nodding your head here. I mean, just to give our viewers some perspective, you are one of the doctors that evaluates these pilots every 6 months to make sure they are indeed fit to fly. But you don't do routine psychological examinations, and that confounds a lot of people.
Right, that's correct, Poppy. I think what the flying public need to understand is that a commercial pilot is evaluated medically every 6 months. And in that exam, it would be like going to your GP, where a standard physical is done, but the doctor should also get an assessment of the, more or less the psychological state, not really do a specific psychological testing. That's not included in that every 6 month exam.
I think that's part of what Brian's saying.
And I see that is a big issue right now simply because of this crash. It makes sense that people would feel that would be an important thing to do. The problem with that is who would be doing that exam? Certainly, the aviation medical examiner is not a trained psychiatrist or psychologist. Who will pay for that exam? The commercial pilots, for the most part, are paying for these exams out of pocket. They're not covered by their medical policies. And unless it's a corporate pilot who has good benefits, it's all out of pocket expense.
I do have to let Brian respond because I heard him trying to jump in there.
Yeah, Poppy, look, this is ridiculous. I'm pretty outraged by this. If you want to run an airline and you want to hire a pilot that is going to put 150 lives in his or her hands, then you as the airline better hire somebody to assess these pilots. And I'll tell you what the real story is here. Airlines worldwide don't really want to know what the truth is about their pilots, because if they do find out, that will put them on notice that they're possibly unfit. Let me finish. And if they do find out, then they could be facing more liability.
I understand your point. Don't know if it's fair to say airlines don't want to know. Jacqueline?
All right. I'm sorry, Pep, because I'm not hearing him, but he seems very animated, so I'd like to know what he's saying.
He's saying, and we'll get that fixed so you can hear him, but what he's saying is that it is sort of unconscionable. He's saying that airlines shouldn't have to hire someone to evaluate the mental state of the pilots who are going to be flying planes with people's lives in their hands, and that this shouldn't even be a question.
Well, I think the industry standard is that there is some evaluation on hiring the pilot. To talk about, does it make sense? It makes sense. Is it going to stop this problem? I don't know. Yeah. And again, it's an issue of the testing and what kind of testing. So I think this is something that we're going to be thinking about and talking about for a while to really come to some sort of decision as to what's the right way.
Doctor, thank you very much. Stand by. You're going to be with me later in the program. Brian, thank you as well. You'll be with me as well. We appreciate it. Now that